I woke up this morning with new wisdom on my mind. I know who I am. There's no need to hide. I got something to say. I'm thinking that it's time. Why? Cause I'm a young intellect. I'm a young intellect. I'm a young intellect. I'm a young intellect. Pay me my respect.
You are now tuned in to the Young Intellect podcast, an open space where experiences and opinions are welcomed, hosted by Andreas, Sam, and Mafwa. Hello and welcome, Young Intellects. This is your co-host, Mafwa, welcoming you to our open space to teach, learn, laugh, and love.
I am your co-host, Sam, here to encourage you to explore different ways to view the world at large.
And I'm your co-host, Andreas Renee, bringing you loads of realness and motivation into your everyday lives and minds.
So in HBCUs, pledging is like one of the biggest things that someone can do. So Greek letters sometimes are considered sacred, and the members of societies are kind of like swearing to secrecy. So when you pledge, you are expected like to wear your letters proudly, basically for the rest of your life. Our next guest did the exact opposite. After less than a year of being associated with this fraternity, he decided to publicly denounce his letters in association to his fraternity. He is doing so sparkle controversy among so many people, but he has his reasons. And we would like to welcome him to our platform in order to give his side of the story and let us know what was going on through his mindset. So welcome, Travis.
Thank you for joining us today, Travis. We really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you guys for welcoming. Thank you guys for having me. I'm glad to be here to, give my side of the story, what was going through my mind, what drove me to denounce, and, essentially my reason, my whole mission behind the whole thing. It did spark a lot of controversy, and that was the purpose of it. And, when I was given this mission, I really understood what it was all about, what time it is, and it was really big. So I had a lot of people call my phone that same day. I dropped the video. I had to put my phone on D&D. It was really, really crazy. I was very nervous too. Guys don't know how many times I restarted my video when I recorded. I restarted like so many times. I was so nervous. When I pubbed the video, my heart was beating out of my chest because I just knew what time it was. I was like, oh my goodness, so many people. I'm about to be trending on Twitter. I'm about to just get some persecution. It was a lot. But I'm glad I got it out the way. It was good. It was done for a greater purpose. And so, we're here to talk about that today and to give people my perspective and a fresh way of thinking about Greek life and really what it's about.
I'm happy that you got it out the way and now you're in a different space where you can actually see it as something that was in the past and you can move forward, and it's not anything you have to deal with. Well, yeah, it's not anything you have to deal with immediately anymore. So
Right. You're definitely a very strong, brave, and wise person. And I just say don't ever stop that, because not a lot of people have the voice to speak up. So I definitely commend you on that.
I definitely admire your bravery, to be honest. A lot of people wouldn't have done that, to be honest.
Right. Especially around that time. Like I was just a new pledge. Like it's like what? Now, but that was all a part of God's plan, and we're gonna talk about that and go into greater detail. And so, everything that I do is always bigger than me, and it's always to glorify God. And I just knew I had to choose a side right then and there. That was my test.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Travis Finley Jr. I'm a junior. I'm from Miami, Florida. I'm actually Haitian. My mom is Haitian.
Well, I'm Haitian too.
yeah.
Okay. Shout out to all the Haitians.
Ça passe.
Nabule. For sure. So I'm Haitian in Turks and Caicos. I'm currently attending FAMU. I'm a fourth year graphic design student.
Shout out to the Rattlers.
I have 4 older brothers. I have 1 older brother and then 3 younger.
Okay. To pledge in the first place. Like, was it legacy? Was it, you just wanted to try it out?
No, it was not legacy. I was actually the first to pledge in my whole entire family. Well, I have one cousin who is a Delta, but that's not legacy. She's just another family member who pledged. But in my immediate family, I was the first to pledge Greek. So it had nothing to do with legacy. It was more of a new experience, and knowing that I could do it is, like you said in the beginning, going Greek is like a very high achievement in college. And I'm always holding myself to a high standard, always going, a top tier student, I would call myself. Always just, achieving and trying to be the best amongst my peers. And achieving that would definitely would set me apart. And so basically when you get to college, a lot of people are striving to go Greek, and it's, pretty much the representation of college. That's what the first thing you think of when you think about college life is Greek life and fraternity sororities and whatnot. And so when I first got to FAMU, I really didn't know much about Greek life and whatnot, but as you progress and you go through your college experience, you see that FAMU, or at least at FAMU Greek, make the experience a bit. A lot of events are put on by Greeks, and so you get to know Greeks, and it becomes a part of the culture of college. And so seeing that, how cool it was, I found my niche and where, I would want to pledge. And I just did some research on it, and like I say, just wanted to be the best, and seeing that this was a very high achievement to any student in college. I wanted to be that student to say that, I did it, and especially me being like the first of my family to go to college in general, to really leave a legacy, start a legacy of my own, of me achieving everything that I set myself to do or set my mind to do, that I could do all things. And that's exactly what I did.
That's great. I love that. Okay, so how long did you pledge for?
So I joined spring 2020, so this year in the spring. Then I shortly denounced maybe 2 months after.
Oh, this is recent.
Yeah. It's very recent.
Okay.
This year. And so maybe 2 or 3 months afterwards, I denounced. It began to weigh on my conscience, and I just knew, what time it was and what God was calling me to do. And I had to, pass my test. I had to choose a side, like I said. And so I only pledged for about 3 months.
Okay. All right.
What was your experience in being part of a frat at FAMU during the time that you were in the frat?
It was actually pretty good. It was fun. It was different. See, the thing with fraternities, you're set on a pedestal. You're set on a hi hat where everybody's looking at you. Everyone wants to be in your position, and so it's a different experience where you're now almost like a FAMU leader. Like you're in a spotlight for people to follow after you and to walk in your footsteps to get where you are, as far as previously joining, to even have the resume to be considered a member of the fraternity. So joining different organizations, from community service hours and things of that nature. And it was really fun, honestly. Even the process, I wouldn't regret anything as far as the process. And even with my ex fraternity brothers, different events and getting to know the history about the fraternity and being at the frat house, even to the probate. It was all fun. It was great. The energy, I loved it. My family supported me. Everyone supported me. It was a great experience. I regret nothing about pledging. I would say it was a great experience, honestly.
Okay.
Well, then that's great then.
Yeah. From like your positive point of view from like pledging, like what really inspired you to actually denounce your letters, since you had like such a positive experience?
It's really all what you make it, honestly. What you do with your time, how you view things, your perspective, um, and what you represent that's what you make your experience. So me, I'm always have a positive outlook on life regardless of what the actual situation could be. So it could be a negative situation or whatever it is. I'm always the positive one out of the group, regardless, and trying to, be that light in the dark. And so, although it was fun, I had a great experience, I knew the foundation on which fraternities, sororities were built, what it's really about, the dark, deep secrets, and what you're pledged not to talk about, the discretion that you're supposed to keep within your brotherhood. Um, we always thinking that that's that's the same thing with social media. We build up a narrative or a reality that we only want to present to the outer world, not really what it is. And so we tend to view fraternities and sororities to be all glorious and cool to join, and so cool when you see you're strolling in the parties and everything that it comes with fraternity, sorority. It looks so cool. Everybody wants to join, but until you really get in and you see from the inside looking out. And so that's really what it's about. I just knew the foundations on what it was really built on, and it was coming into what I say. I'm gonna say it was.
So was it like affecting your spirituality?
Was it like a conflict?
Yeah, it was a conflict between my beliefs and what I was representing. If you really do research into where Greeks were found, and even me being very spiritual now and, a man of God, I would call myself, Greeks and the Romans were the ones who put Christ on the cross. God never really adored the Greeks, and as well as their idols that they worship. And so when you look at fraternities and sororities, they're found, that's what they call Greeks, and the Greek goddesses and gods that they each represent. And so as a man of God, you know that one of the 10 commandments is, thou shalt have no other God before me, which is the forbidden of idolatry. And so when you're part of these organizations, you're representing and you're worshiping these false gods and false goddesses that which represent each of these fraternities or sororities. And when you're doing different events in these fraternities or sororities, you're giving the glory to these fraternities, sororities of what you're doing. It's not for God, or it's not, for yourself. It's for the representation and the bragging rights or the bragging and the pride of that organization. And God forbids that. And there's so many other deep things that, I really don't want to go into. But that's really the core of it, though. Coming into conflict with being a spiritual man of God.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't know that the Greeks represented like Greek goddesses and gods and stuff like that. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they definitely have deeper meanings than we understand. Yeah. It's just that, from the outside, the main thing is that, oh my gosh, they stroll, they're the life of the college campus, they're so cool. That's all you really see. And even like for me in the UK, growing up there was no such thing as these things in college. You never heard of them. So when I came here, it was a completely different life. And when I saw it, I was just like, this is so amazing. Who wouldn't want to do this? XYZ. So I definitely understand what you're saying. Like, it's just really for show in a sense. Well, not just, but that's one of the main parts of it, just to look enticing.
It is so, well, not funny, but it's so crazy that you said that as your reasoning, because I know a friend who also denounced his letters, and it was exactly for the same thing. And it just kind of amazed me a little bit, because we have Christian groups on FAMU campus, and some of those people are Greeks. So it's kind of shocking to know that history behind it and see what we see, in reality now.
See, what the thing is today, people are so in love with the flesh and the ego and wanting to be cool, to be known as, the cool people in town or whatever you want to call it. And so when you join these organizations, you work your butt off to get to these organizations, and you paid the fees and the money to join these organizations. It's not easy for someone to just completely rebel against these organizations, knowing all that they've done for it. And so people get really comfortable with being in that pedestal and that spotlight, and they don't want to come to truth and let go of, or really face reality that if you are a man of God that you call yourself, or a woman of God that you call yourself, then you're not supposed to be in such organizations. And that's why you have a lot of conflict between, Christians now being in these organizations, and their excuse is that these organizations were built off Christianity principles, when that's not true. Back in the day, if you really learn where fraternities and sororities came from, they came when whites created fraternities, sororities, and the blacks couldn't join these fraternities and sororities because of, the color of their skin. So we wanted to just do our own thing and to replicate what they had, but they don't understand that what they were replicating was what the whites were doing, which was idolatry and worship. And they don't understand that this bridged from Freemasonry, and this is very, very deep in Satan worshiping and occult things in that nature. And so it's a bit of a brainwashing, in a sense that it's covered up in lies, and it's look all goldish, and they're saying all things that glitter isn't golden, and that's really what it is. It's not. And so people think what they want, like Satan is the father of lies, so he traps you with this it looking all good and cool, so it gets you to join, and you don't really understand, you're not conscious that when you join these organizations, you open the door to these demons and satanic spirits that are tied to these fraternities and sororities, because they bridge from Freemasonry and their cult. It's covered up in a whole bunch of lies that make it seem good, like it was being founded on Christian principles, and it being able to do charity and volunteer hours and community service, all the type of stuff. And it looks good and looks cool, like it looks good for the community. It could be nothing wrong. And that's literally the conflict, where people think that you can be a part of this organization because what they do rather than what they really represent.
Right. So the outside looks pretty, but deep inside is really ugly.
It's like finding a gold and then figuring out that it's just a fake gold covering the outside, and the inside is just rocks.
That's a perfect example. So how did you denounce your letters?
I figured if I did a probate, I did it publicly, it was only right for me to denounce publicly. So I recorded a YouTube video. I made a video basically just explaining a little bit of my reasoning and trying to give people a perspective a little bit of why I'm denouncing and why it was weighing on my conscience so heavy. Like I know I had to deal with it, and it was a problem that I kind of knew, that I just knew that God was telling me this is what my mission was, like, because I had worked so hard, just like anybody else, to join a fraternity or sorority. And it was something that I truly wanted to do. And I was one of those who were deceived about joining a fraternity or sorority. And I thought of just like anybody else, it was really, really cool. I want to join, I think I'm capable. I'm pretty involved in school. There's nothing I can't do. Like I'm a high achiever. I can do this. And, I'm here to, start my own legacy, and I will do this when no one can be able to stop me. Like, I was that person who was that go-getter. Everyone pretty much knew me on campus. And I feel like it was pretty known, like how much I was hustling to join fraternity sorority. I don't think it was no secret at some point that it was like, oh yeah, this guy is definitely about to come out on somebody's line. Like this guy is doing a lot. He has a lot of accolades and a lot of hours, and he's always busy around campus. He's an SGA and so on, so on. So when I joined, it was really, really cool. And I remember once I really knew what my mission was, because I started to realize what it was about. And I started arguing with God. I was like, I'm not doing this. I figured it out. You show me I'm not joining this. I'm not joining this organization. I had made up my mind. I was like, okay, I'm not doing this no more. Like, that's it. He came to my dream. Like, oh my goodness, he gave me a prophetic dream. He literally came to my dream and was like, he told me straight up, he was like, you are doing it. Like, he yelled at me. He was like, you're going to do this. Like, you're going to do this. And that's when I knew that once I had joined, I knew at some point in time, I was going to have to denounce. Like, that was my mission, to attack this demonic kingdom. That was my mission, to attack this demonic kingdom. I just knew that was the mission, and I don't know how to, like, I don't know. It
just felt like instant. It was instant. It didn't take too long to think about it. It was like you had to do it.
Right, I had to do it. It was my test, because he knew how much, like, going through my process of college, all that I had done to join, and I can say that there was nobody on that campus that wanted to join more than me. Like, I was so passionate about wanting to join, especially my position. I was number one. I was the ace. Like, I was going to be that person on the yard. I was going to be pretty, like, it was really...
Right, you're going to be pretty up there.
Right. And so when I figured out my mission was to attack this demonic kingdom, I didn't know how to respond. When God gave me the signal to do it, I was going to do it. And just one morning, I had a picture up of me throwing up our sign, and some random comment on my Instagram picture was like, oh, that's the Illuminati sign, it's 666. I'm like, and that's when I knew, like, it was time for me to denounce, because if someone who doesn't know about college Greek life at all whatsoever, and to just say, like, it was a random person, like a random account, and it was a real person or whatever, but it was like, I know it was this person didn't know about Greek life at all. Like, it was some random person, I don't know, somewhere. I just know for a fact, though, in my spirit, that this person didn't know about Greek life. But for him to say that it was Illuminati and this and that, I was just like, okay, yeah. For someone to see that and not know about Greek, that obviously confirms what it is. And so that same day I made my video, I did a YouTube video. I gathered some scriptures and everything, because you have to have some proof and everything to, show people this is not of God. And if you're a true man of God, a true woman of God, this is something that you're not supposed to be a part of. And this was my ultimate test. He knew, knowing that I wanted to join this and do this so bad. This was my test. This was my test. And I believe I passed my test. I had to do it. So, yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. And I really love, like, you coming on here and saying why you did it, and really just going into it deeper, because I remember, like, when it did come out, people were sending the video. I had no idea, because I was like MIA off social media, and people were sending the video like, oh, he's doing it for attention, it's for this, it's for that. And I didn't know you then, so I was like, but I was also on my spiritual journey, so I was like, I don't really know. But loads of people like, it's for attention, but now you're going into it, it was really for your spiritual health, because it was really just the path that you were on, and people won't understand that it's your life's path to come here and do this thing, to fulfill this purpose. And it's got nothing to do with other people or how other people see you. It's literally because of who you are, your soul, and your soul's purpose.
I definitely agree with Martha, because the first time I heard about it, like, I graduated from FAMU, so I'm not really into, like, FAMU politics, basically. So I was on Twitter and I followed a few people, and I was like, they were talking about somebody denouncing, and I didn't even see the video until, like, a few days later. And I actually didn't even watch the video fully, but I was like, maybe this is for him. Like, I'm not even gonna judge too much why this person is doing this, because I don't even know about Greek life like that. The first time I was actually introduced to Greek life was the first time I stepped foot on FAMU's campus. Like, I never heard of Greek life like that.
I like the fact that God was able to really send you a sign and stop you. Like, he knew it was something that needed to be changed. Like, you were doing everything that you needed to do at FAMU, and you could still be a legacy. It just doesn't have to be Greek.
Yeah, it's a different one.
Right.
Very true. That's a very beautiful way of looking at it too. So, how did you feel after everything went public? And this could be anything, the criticism and anything else.
Once it went public, um, I didn't really feel any kind of way, honestly. I'm like I say, I'm a very, very positive person, and I'm aware of my spiritual journey, and I'm aware that this is what life is. This is how the things you go through in life. You're always gonna have people who talk behind your back and say negative things about you, regardless if you're even doing positive things. You know, you have a ton of celebrities out there who are doing great things for the world and great things for their community, and they still always, receive backlash because there's just very low vibration people out there who just love to tear people down with negative words. And I just really figured out what it is like to be persecuted as a disciple or as a servant of God. Even then, like, God lived a perfect, or you can say Jesus lived a perfect life when he came down to earth, and he did absolutely nothing wrong to nobody. All he did was help and to heal the land and the people in the land, and we're still faced with so much criticism and persecution and even killed from nothing. So it's like we live in a very judgmental world, and Ephesians talks about the spiritual wickedness in high places that we battle, not against flesh. And so I look beyond that of what comes out of people's mouths and understand that it's almost like a video game. This is just like one of the levels that you have to go through, or a constant part of the level or game that you go through as a man of God, and raising your vibrations and raising your level of consciousness and on your spiritual journey when you're um, being fulfilling your purpose. And so I didn't even really put my focus on negativity. I had a lot of people reach out to me with very positive vibrations, saying, I'm very, very proud of you. You're so brave. You have a lot of strength. I'm glad that you did this because I was skeptical about Greek life, and now I understand. And so it did a lot of impact positively, and I had a lot of people reach out to me and just thank me and to give me encouragement to continue to stand boldly for the kingdom of God. And that's the only what I focused on. I'm not somebody who focused on negative. I know that what the backlash I was gonna receive, so I didn't pay no attention to it. And so the criticism I knew was there, but I really didn't know about it, so I really was not affected. I was only positively affected, and just to know that the people that were reaching out to me just gave me more confirmation about my purpose and where I was going, and just reassurance and my purpose, and that's really what it was about.
Your mindset is like actually really A1. Like I always say, like, you know what? It doesn't matter if someone doesn't like me or criticize me, because even Jesus had haters. So I'm really happy that you said that. I was like, oh, okay, snap, snap, snap. I truly agree with you.
I just love how content you are with yourself. Like, you know yourself. You know your spirituality. Like, you know what you're about. You know what you will accept. You know what you will deny. Like, I just love how forward you are.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
And I also like the fact that you were able to help other people. Maybe like you probably, let's say, save someone from pledging and spending money and time that they would have wasted if they went through the process and realized the same thing that you realized. So you probably helped a lot of people without even knowing, because sometimes people are scared to reach out. So you just don't know who you've helped out.
Exactly.
And yeah, and the thing about that, it really kind of helped them, because imagine if they had gone through the process but they didn't have the strength to denounce, because there are probably some people like that who carry their letters, but they don't have the heart or the strength or the courage to come out and say, I can't do this anymore because of the ridicule they face. So you like you are who you are for a reason, and you have the strength you have for a reason, and you had to carry that so other people didn't have to go through it. So that's amazing as well.
I'm glad you said that, because were actually a few Greek people that reached out to me and felt the exact same way, and they spoke their truth, and that's really what it was about, to just give that space for people to really analyze and observe this Greek life that we put on a pedestal, and realize that this is more than what people think it is. and people who are in the Greek are going to defend it, but they know deep down. And I had, like I said, I had a couple Greek members come to me and say, like, you know, they know, other Greeks know that they know they're lying. Like, they know that it's not all holy, and they know that the things that they're doing behind closed door is not of God at all, and it's very dark and demonic. And they basically were just saying, like, yeah, they don't have the strength, or they know they don't want to be in the same seat to come out and say or denounce, because it does take a lot. Nobody wants to be in that spotlight, to be persecuted and to be the talk of town. Like, I was trending on Twitter, and it was everywhere. It was everywhere. Even my mom was skeptical about it. She wanted me to take the YouTube video down, but how many YouTube videos it was, views it was getting, only looking at the negative side of it. And she was like, please take it down. You know, I don't want, you know, this fraternity to come after you. I don't want, you know, this negative people to come after you and whatnot. I'm like, no, like, I'm not taking it down. I know my purpose. This is what God called me to do. This is what I'm going to do. I'm leaving the video up. And even from now, people will find that video and always be able to have that example or that video to look at, to find the courage or to get their answers about joining a fraternity or sorority or not. And so, I had a lot of Greek that to come and say that, you know, they don't have the strength to come out and say something like that or to denounce. And there's a lot of members who would love to denounce. And that's why in the video I also cover, like, you can denounce secretly. Like, you don't have to come out like I did, but I had to come out because God called me to come out, and I had to do it with a purpose.
So with people reaching out to you, you said Greeks reached out to you. So did anyone else that denounced reached out to you as well to stand in solidarity?
I had some that denounced, like, secretly, and we had a conversation secretly as far as them denouncing in private. And so I did have a couple people as such, but I did notice after my video kind of went viral, I noticed more denouncing videos come up. So I don't know if you know, that triggered a little bit of a wave or ripple effect, but I didn't realize, like, it kind of gave me I don't know, in a sense, I thought maybe that I could have triggered that, because I did notice I seen a video not too long ago, right after I denounced, probably about a week or two after. It was an alpha that denounced, and he was just basically talking about the same thing I was talking about. So I was like, you know, I really hope that he saw my video and it encouraged him to do the same, and what this video's purpose was for.
I think what it is that since God knew that really was not for you, and that he also knew that there's others who probably didn't have the strength to speak up like you did, he used you as a platform. And so others could do it secretly. Like, did you know that, was there anyone who you thought would have supported you didn't? Like, was there anyone who you were probably friends with, or any type of like family member who you thought would support you but kind of like disappointed you in a way?
No, not at all. And honestly,
That's good.
even through me pledging, my family is very spiritual. Like, I would say my whole household is very spiritual. We are a household that serves the Lord. And so we all knew what it was about, because my mom had a friend who actually wanted to get her to go Greek, and my mom declined it. And my mom knows she's very spiritually in tune. And so um, my mom, knowing that I was joining a fraternity, she still supports her son. She knew what I was doing. She knew that, you know, where my heart was at as far as, you know, being in college, and, you know, what my mission was to achieve and leave a legacy in FAMU. Because at first it was always just like, I didn't get accepted immediately at FAMU. And so then later on I got accepted. So it was like almost on a mission to like prove myself, like, you know, you guys rejected me or whatever, like, but I was that star student, or that person who was gonna kind of put family on the map in a sense, to really, you know, be that name, like, oh, this was one who got rejected at first, but, you know, we are glad now we did accept him. So I was always kind of on that mission to like leave my name and leave my name as a legacy or whatnot at FAMU. And so my family supported me in all that I did at FAMU. And after I denounced, my family already knew. And my mom revealed to me that God even spoke to her saying, just continue to support him and that he will handle everything. So it was just like, yeah, just he already had it all planned out from the beginning, just like he has everything planned out. So it's just all about trusting him and having faith, really. And when he shows you a direction to walk that walk.
Like, following up from that question, how would you say your journey has been since you denounced your letters?
It's been great, honestly. It's been great. I would say I just been extremely blessed ever since. God has been continue to follow me on my journey and speak to me and show me his presence and showing his love for me more than anything. And it's just such a wonderful feeling that even when you feel like you're lost and you don't know where to go, he's still there for you. And so during that time when I did, I was just like, I hope I didn't get tricked or, this was some sort of deception from the devil to get me denounced and make me look like stupid. I don't know. Like, I just wanted to make sure I was just doing the right thing. And that's where my intentions always root from. I'm always trying to do the positive and right thing for myself and for my peers around me. And to really realize that life is bigger than us, and we have to realize that if you don't acknowledge the source and the creator, you will never really truly be successful. And the best thing, everyone wants the best thing for themselves, and you have to realize that God is the best thing. Like, he's the creator of all, he's the best thing there is. So you give your life to Christ and following his footsteps and the story that he has written for you from since the beginning can be the best thing for yourself. And so my journey has been great. He's been delivering more knowledge and wisdom and understanding. Um, he's been showing me how to, really be a man, but not only a man of God, and to really be of service to my peers and to myself, and to really be a true example and a servant, especially during these times. We're really in prophetic times, and that's really what a big part of the video was to serve to as well, to really get people to realize that this is not about Greek life, or it's not about clout or anything. This is literally about just giving your life to Christ, and to really understand that we are in very prophetic times and times are drawing very near. And so I want people to look at this as almost like a trumpet or a warning, a big warning. If you read Revelations, it talks about trumpets as far as, the prophetic time. So almost like a trumpet, I would say, to get people to turn to God and to realize that I mean what I say so much that I was able to, or willing to, denounce my Greek letters that quickly to get people to turn their lives around. And so that's really what it's all about. And so my journey's been great, and ever since I don't regret not a single thing, and I'm just thankful and grateful for my journey and where I'm going. And so just really expressing a lot of love and gratitude, and just having a lot of reverence for the Lord and continuing my path, and just trying to affect as many lives as much as possible before it's my time.
Honestly, you sound like a very sure, wise, and educated young man. Like, honestly, I'm just like, okay, knowledge and wiseness. You're just spewing a lot of positivity, and you're sure of yourself. The confidence is oozing out of you, to be honest. And I'm glad your journey was actually a really good journey, and you've learned a lot from your journey.
Yeah, because some people, they might have been scarred or traumatized from the journey because of the ridicule they face, but as I said earlier, you are who you are, and you look at the positive for a reason. You were given those traits for a reason, and they come in handy each step on your path, and it's just amazing.
God is definitely moving through you, and it's shown throughout the world now, because it has a lot of views, so it has touched a lot of people. You've done an amazing job.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And I can see that God is really working through you guys as well. And I feel like there's no such thing as coincidence for me to be here at this moment with you guys. to be able to give him glory. Like I said, that's what I talked about in the beginning, to, use your platform, to use your talent or your gift to allow the Holy Spirit, the creative spirit, to flow through you, and how God, expresses himself through all that he's created in the universal energies. And so God is everything, and that's how he always displays himself through what he has created. And so that's why like I say, I'm just showing a lot of gratitude and just thanking for me to be here on my path and my journey, and to be here with you guys through my journey. And this is what your journey is as well. So I'm very thankful and just showing a lot of gratitude.
Yeah, thank you for coming here and not only educating us, but again, still using your platform.
I wanted to ask you, did you lose any friends or people that you thought would be in your life during this process?
Yeah, like were your frat brothers, do you think like they still recognize you how they did throughout the process? Or well, your frat brothers, do you think they still look at you the same? Is the relationship the same, or has it changed as well?
I don't know. I've always been somebody kind of, I would say a lot of people knew me, but I wouldn't say I had a lot of friends. Like I was very, very popular on campus, and this is really how it goes. You're not really friends with everybody. Everybody just knows you, and you're not in communication with all the people you know. And so I wouldn't say I lost a lot of friends. It's just I was never really in contact with a lot of people from the start, or that trying to be that popular person in on the scene all the time, and the life of the party. And so I would, like I said, I just always been to myself. And as far as my ex frat brothers, some of them I think understood, and I had a few who really reached out to me and understood where I was coming from, because I've always been spiritual in the person I am, and continue to grow into spewing positivity and just trying to get people to realize what life is really about, as far as helping the next person. That's what God or Jesus was for. He gave himself to help others, and so he was a servant, and so that's what life is about. You're created to help others, to lift up others, to love one another, and that's really what life stems from. And so I've always been that person to uplift my fraternity brothers, and I had a couple of them who really reached out and understood where I was coming from as being a spiritual person. And then I had some others who didn't really understand my perspective, and it kind of angered them in a sense, just coming off the line to do that. Almost it kind of felt betrayed in a sense. So it's both sides. We live in a duality world, yin yang, up down, left right, good bad, so you're gonna always have both sides of it. And so I just always embrace the positivity, and sometimes I do look at the negative to always still put things in perspective for me, and to realize the growth, and have constructive criticism. And so it's not just always about the positivity. And so a wise man would know that you just can't focus on the positivity, and that's because life is full of ups and downs. So it would be a foolery or a deception if I was to just say I'm all about positivity when it's really not. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't know. Yeah.
Right. I had a lot of. I understand you. I understand you completely, because I also have that exact same mindset. So everything you're saying now, you're making total sense.
Definitely. Like there's nothing you can, like we live in a world where things, like as you said, it's a world of duality. We can't change the fact there's left and right. It is what it is. We have to understand it and accept it. So
yeah, something that you said stood out to me a little bit is that you knew people, but you weren't friends with people. Because sometimes people confuse knowing people as people being their friends. And like, I was just like, okay, he knows, like, he really knows a lot of things about himself and his surroundings and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a difference. There's I'm friends with this person, and there's this person is my acquaintance.
Mm-hmm. Or like, I just know this person. We not really friends.
Yeah, you just know of them.
I wanted to ask, what advice would you give to someone that would be trying to pledge?
Honestly, I'm not a judgmental person at all. I'm not someone who likes to condemn, or because everyone is on their own journey. Everyone has to go through their experiences in order to achieve spiritual growth and understanding through their own um, experiences. That's where wisdom comes from. Honestly, the best thing I could tell them is to follow their heart, follow their intuition. If this is something you're very passionate about and brings you joy and happiness, I'm totally all for it. And I can only pray for that person. I can only hope that God will convict them and show them, because it honestly, God just wants the best for you. He wants none of his children to fall, in a sense. And so I'm only a living testimony to my own journey for others to see. And God uses all and everyone for different things in his whole story. So he used me for this side, and he can use that person for that side. It's like, it's always not a good story. You have to have the robber in that story, as far as like, say, you have the cop and you have the robber in the story. Like, there's two sides of a story, so someone has to play that role. And so I can only just tell somebody to just follow their passion, follow their heart, and just give the 100%. Anything that you do, just operate from a spirit of excellence and give it your all. Because like I said, when I went through it, I gave it my all. I was 100%, 110% for it, and I loved it. I love my journey. I love my experience. Like, I live with no regrets. Never live with any regrets. It's always moving forward and just embrace your moments, embrace your experience. That's what life is about, and to just go through many experiences with all those around you, and to know yourself. So that's really what I would tell someone. I couldn't condemn someone, because you're not going to understand until you go through themselves. Same thing with like a child. They're not going to know why you tell them to not put their hand on the stove until they put their hand on the stove.
Yeah, because sometimes someone has to put their hand on the stove to really learn, because we have different pain receptors in our bodies. So whatever burns for you might not burn for the next person, or might not be as hot.
Who come through biology and chemistry? Okay. Now, I know we've heard you express your reasoning for denouncing your letters and not wanting to be in the fraternity anymore. Now, say you have kids. Knowing what you know, would you let them pledge, or would you be against it? Because some parents may have different views. They may say, oh, I may just allow my child to do it, but others would be totally against it. So what is your take on it?
That I don't know, that question gives a little bit of mixed emotions, because when it comes to your child, you're a little bit more protective, and you want to definitely be
exactly
to guide them in the right direction, and so they won't make the same mistakes. Especially, you hear that from your parents all the time. They've went through a lot of things, that why they're so protective in the way they are, because they don't want you to experience the same things that they did growing up. And I would definitely have a long, hard talk with my son or daughter, and tell them about my journey, as far as going Greek and pledging, and why not to, and hopefully your child is obedient. But just as my mom did, that's another lesson I learned from the other side of it, and always having a good scope of perspective to support my son or daughter, even through whatever. Like, I'm not gonna hate my son. I'm not gonna you know disown them. My mom could have did that, but she didn't. She supported me. She showed me, regardless of the choices that anyone makes in life, the only thing that you can always be certain of is love between your mom and your father, with their child. And I definitely wouldn't want my son or my daughter to feel neglected if they make a decision that they know I probably wouldn't be too happy about. And I feel like that's what I've learned when my mom revealed that to me. And so, I don't know, I would definitely, feel some type of way, but definitely support my son or my daughter, and just pray that this is all part of the journey, and that, their eyes are opened, and trust the Lord wherever he's taking my son or my daughter on their path.
That's a good answer.
Yeah,
it's very honest.
Yeah, I was definitely gonna say maybe like you could even have a conversation with your mom since she already went through that. Like you can ask her how she dealt with it, and maybe as you said, God was working in all directions. How he had revealed himself to her. Maybe he'll reveal himself to you, and it'll be like different circumstances than the ones that we're even thinking about now. The ones that you can even like understand. So you did speak about you are to yourself and you do self-care. So like what are some things that you do to take care of your self, spiritually, physically, mentally?
I do a lot of things, honestly. I have like a little routine that I kind of adhere to. Um, I normally start my day off when I wake up. I do not stay in bed. Like it's the first thing. You just have to start your day. The hardest thing ever in anything you do is the hardest part is starting. Even with a project or homework, is starting. That's the hardest part. And so once you triumph starting within anything you do, you have your energy in motion. And so you want to keep, that in motion. You want to keep, the energy behind it moving. So it's just I start my day off, get up straight out of bed. I normally do not grab my phone. I love to always detox from technology. Technology is I think very brainwashing these days, and especially in these times, it's always info, a lot of information being thrown at us to play with our minds. And a lot of things that come out on the media is very, I would say, low vibrational. And you really have to be careful the things that you allow affect your mind or to believe from the media. I think media is full of lies these days, a lot of lies. Like the current event of Trump having COVID-19. If I'm being honest, I don't think Trump has COVID-19. It's all a show, honestly.
It is.
Politics and election coming up next month. October is going to be a very, very eventful month, and in my opinion, especially, like I say, it's the last month before election, so they're going to pull all kinds of false flags and political agendas or whatnot to, sway the election. So that's just my opinion. So that's why you have, like I say, you have to be careful with media. And so when I do get up, I read my devotional. I have a book with like a scripture and everything and whatnot. So I read my devotional, then I get up, I fix me a bowl of fruit, and I fix me some tea, and I go outside and I sit in the sun, drinking my tea, eating fruit, listening to gospel music. Then once I'm from out the sun, I normally take a shower and everything because I just charge up my melon and I'm sweating and everything. So I take a shower. Then I do some self-care. So maybe I'll go like maybe meditating, or maybe before I take a shower, like when I'm outside, I like to meditate or work out or really just be in the sun. Like I just have to make sure I'm in the sun, whether that be meditating, working out, running, something to get my energy in motion. Then later on, like I say, I'll shower, probably read some studying on scriptures and things of that nature. I like to lay down and listen to music, honestly. Like I say, I don't really pay too much attention to social media or things of that nature. Really, that's really it. Those things that I stated really always help me to remain balanced as far as like when I'm in nature, grounding, meditation, listening to music, staying organized. I think is another key to it as well.
Yes.
I have a chalkboard, not like a little whiteboard, where I'm always just writing down my to-do lists and things I need to make sure I get out of the way.
We literally do the exact same thing. I don't watch TV at all. Like music and meditation that's it for me, especially when I'm just getting off from work because I work full time. So like just on a day like on a Saturday and Sunday, all I do is just meditate and read the Bible, work on stuff, and listen to music. That's it.
I really think the key to life, really, I think people think it's so sophisticated when it's not. And the key to it is just really simplifying your life. Like wake up in the morning, set 3 goals for yourself or anything on your to-do list that you need to get done and do it. And the thing is too, not everything always go to plan or according to your plan. So like I say, not living with regrets or the weight of things. That's why it's so important to live in the present, because don't want to condemn yourself or walk around with some sort of weight of not getting things done if they don't get done, or if they're not so immediate. And it's really just about simplifying your life. Like that's really it. You really live a simple life. You don't have so much clutter. I like to call myself a minimalist. Like I'm very minimal in the things that I do. I'm very simple. I don't make my life so sophisticated where I'm stretching myself out and my energy is all over the place. And I'm very focused, and I know what I'm doing, and I'm conscious of what I'm doing and when I'm doing it. And so I think that's really a key that of advice that I can give to anybody is really simplify your life, and do not hold on weight when things do not go according to your plan. Because the moment you make plans, God can show you that you're not in control. And that's what you got to realize, that you're not in control. You're really not. And you only can control the things that he allows you to control. And that's what he's giving your life for. But your life is a living testimony and a sacrifice to give him the glory. So it's always things that he can come uproot in your life, where he shifts your energy or your focus to, or something that he needs you to handle, or something, that you run into that, helps you or grows you and gives you wisdom or knowledge or understanding in some form, or, what people like to call coincidences, where he's speaking to you. So there's so many different ways that, life flows. And that's really what I'm about, like being in the moment, flowing in with the universe, and just living my life really simple and simplified.
That's beautiful. Simplification is very important. Like you're just preaching and I'm just listening right now. So yeah.
Me too. I'm just like, oh,
for real. Like you are preaching a whole word and I'm just soaking it in.
Like Sunday.
There's not a lot of people like you.
That's very true. Because right now I'm just like, oh, I need to, do better with my life, simplify my life. I watch too much TV sometimes.
That's what it's all about, though, but just balance, like, especially Libra season. So that's what it's all about, balancing these times and making sure you're just balancing everything you do. Like, don't overconsume anything of anything. Is too much is not good, or anything less. So it's you always got to be in the middle with balance. Spiritually, mentally, and physically, you have to be balanced in order to operate at your best. And like I say, it comes with simplifying your life, because if you bring out the scales and you have different items on the left and the right, what balances it out? So if you have so many items and you're doing so much, you have your hands in so many things and so many items on your list or on your life, it's going to be hard to balance all of those things out. And I think multitasking is a myth. Your mind is only made to focus on one thing at a time, for you to give it the right amount of energy and for it to be done right. And so that's what it all comes down to balancing and understanding that you only can do one thing at a time, and not try to stretch out yourself, because now when you're doing that, you're stressed and you're all over the place, and now things are not getting done right, and you're conscious and aware that things are not getting done right, so you're even more stressed that it's not getting done right. And then other things that that you have to handle, you're too stressed now to even want to move forward, to even want to do the other things, because it's not going to get done right. It's just it's a domino effect. And so you really understand, when you're conscious and aware of everything that you're doing in your life and being balanced, it truly affects everything from your health, your mental, your spiritual, your emotions. Balance is so key, and balance has direct ties with, like I say, simplifying your life. Like I say, if you bring out a scale, you have 2 items on the right side, you have 2 items on the left side. But those 4 items is what you're going to balance that day.
Yeah, you definitely dropped a few gems. I do want to kind of summarize. And you guys feel free to put in points too of what he said. Simplicity, balancing in your life, and also following your heart and your spirit, the spirit that is in you, the God within you, rather than listening to outside and following what people think is best for you.
Right. It's really like being one with yourself. You know yourself, you know your belief. You don't have to run and try to fit in with different crowds. You know, how's the best way to explain this?
Self-assured.
There you go. Yes, self-assurance and self-love. In both of those things, you have I always say perfect is never going to happen, but you're literally that though. Like like everybody, I know perfect is like a myth also, but if there was anything close to that, that would be what you are, because you are balanced.
Yeah, it's the way you carry yourself for me. I can hear it from your voice. So like imagine actually how you actually carry yourself in the real world, I mean outside.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just I can hear the confidence, the self-assurance. Like you're really like you know where you're at and you know where you're going. And I like that.
Yeah.
Because when you know you're off track, like you can feel it. I was thinking about that earlier today, and it felt like life was off track. I felt like I was about to tip over at one point. Like, balance is really key to everybody out there who is all over the place with their minds and their thoughts and trying to find bits and pieces and pull them all together. Breathe. It's simple. Just like he said, it's really all about balance.
I have to agree with Anne, because at one point I was like, I literally couldn't continue the way I was, so I really understand what you're saying. Like, it was something that was so instant for you when you decided to come out. Like, it wasn't anything that you had to think about. It was like really natural, because that, like, I've been through not in the same circumstances, but the same thing, just in my mind. So I understand it, and I'm not judging it. I'm just like, you had to do what you had to do to be okay, to be stable, to be balanced, and when you're unbalanced is not good. So balance, I guess balance is the key for today's discussion.
Today's motto is balance is key.
Balance.
And what's it called? Multitasking. Was it multitasking?
Yeah.
Yes, multitasking
is a myth. Okay.
Yes.
We thank you again for just coming here and really blessing us, to be honest.
Yeah, I wanted to know if you have like an Instagram, or would you want people to know your Instagram? And is it like how you are? Like, do you have like positivity on your Instagram?
Yeah, so my Instagram is Trav Supreme. It'll be TravSupreme. That's my Twitter as well. I only use Twitter and Instagram. Not really a fan of Snapchat. But on my Instagram, I don't, like I say, I'm not really a social media person. Like, I don't really post pictures and stuff like that, but on my Instagram, like on my story, I'm posting on my story daily of different things, like different scriptures and things of positivity. On my Instagram currently too, I have a video up, 3 parts of one video up on my Instagram that was taken down from YouTube. I was basically revealing who the Antichrist was and the mark of the beast and a whole bunch of prophetic things that the Bible talks about that I was revealing. And I had uploaded the video originally to YouTube, and it got taken down for obvious reasons. You know, these media platforms are controlled by the prince of the air, which is the devil himself. And so when you're in violation and exposing truth, you're censored. As simple as that. So the best way that I could get that video out was cutting it up in 3, because it was a pretty long video to upload to IGTV, and those videos are up on my IG currently. So that's really, it's on my page as of now. But like I say, on my story, I'm always posting different things daily on my story, and as well on my Twitter.
Well, y'all heard that, everybody. Go follow him. Go support him. He's on Instagram and Twitter only.
Yes.
That's it. Well, we thank you again so much for joining. We love having you. Well, thank you for joining us today on the Young Intellect podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show, and tell a friend to tell a friend about us, and make sure you take care of yourself and your mind.
Cause I'm a young intellect. I'm a young intellect. I'm a young intellect. I'm a young intellect.